Welcome back to another Sculpt Session Sunday. I'm your host, Sash, and I am here with the man Dizzle with the shizzle.
Hey guys.
And we are going to jump into red flags in prep coaches and lifestyle coaches, but we will be primarily talking about prep coaches, even though any and all of these do apply to lifestyle coaches as well. And if you've been here for a little bit, or if you scroll down all the way to one of our first videos, it was red flags in coaches. So there may be a couple of things that are similar. We are just doing another one of these videos, having a couple different takes in here. We're just going to have a conversation because I've been seeing so many cases, especially now that I'm also a posing coach and I have clients that are coming to me from other coaches who I am not coaching them besides posing. And they just feel very comfortable to share certain information with me as far as like how their coaching experience is going. That actually makes me want to crawl out of my skin. So those horror stories that you hear online are true. There are some really shitty coaches. And this is not me shitting on coaches because I am a coach. Mandy is a coach. We are coaches. There are so many incredible coaches, but it seems like a lot more people share about their bad experiences than their good experiences. And that's a damn shame. So, we're going to talk about red flags that we see in coaches. Again, primarily bodybuilding prep coaches, because that is where I feel like it is more intense, rather than lifestyle, because the protocols get so intense. But again, it does apply to lifestyle as well, because if this is happening in your coaching container with your coach, and you do not like it and you are getting a bad feeling about it, take this as your sign to do some more research and find someone else. So, without further ado, first thing we're going to jump right into is going to be the cookie cutter everything approach. And when I say cookie cutter everything approach, I don't mean you signed up for a 12-week summer shredding challenge and you are aware that everyone is getting the same program, that it's a DIY kind of program. I'm not talking about that because there, yes, it's cookie cutter. It is literally like something that you just bought on your phone. There's no one-on-one experience. If you sign up for a one-on-one and a personalized coaching program, you should not be having cookie cutter anything. Everything should be absolutely formed to you, to your style. And in connection with that, the use of ChatGPT in coaches. I see nothing wrong with ChatGPT. I think it is an incredible platform that has so much information and collects all of this information on Google and other websites and puts it in one place. But the problem is when protocols are being made on ChatGPT, when the coach is not using their own brain because they just cookie cutter something once on ChatGPT, send it out to all of their clients, and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I have so many feelings about this. I'll be completely honest. I use ChatGPT. I do not use it to stand in for me as a coach. I'm the coach. I use it as a like a resource tool, basically. So like if I and a lot of the time for content, really,
Yeah,
I'm not
same.
I'm
It's
not
really for
saying.
content.
Yeah, I'm not like copy and pasting, like having chat write my content because I mean, if you read my if you read my captions, you know chat's not writing my content.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, man, how can I say this in a way where I'm not going to just be a total dick? Like, how can I make this sound a little bit more professional? Because I do like to be blunt sometimes, but I also want to make sure the most important thing, I like spreading education. I want to make sure the message is able to be received appropriately. I use it as a resource tool.
I
Help me
mean, I
figure out how
freaking use
to,
ChatGPT to help plan our honeymoon right now. To what's the weather like in this place when we go there? Like, what do people averagely say? Like, it is that is literally what it's meant
right.
for, is or to make funny graphics of Remy. Like, that is what I use my ChatGPT for. It is not something where you send your client stuff and it writes you a protocol or it gives you macros for your client. Or better yet, when you upload an image of your client onto ChatGPT, and I saw this happen in another coach and client relationship where he uploaded pictures of said client onto his ChatGPT, and had it give feedback on her posing and on how she looked and on how tight she looked in comparison to her old photos. And like the feed
That's
and then she'd
his
send
job.
screenshots and then send screenshots of ChatGPT's response to this client saying like, "See, I'll let the robot tell you what
That
I've been
is,
telling you." And I'm like, "So you're just telling me that you can't think for yourself, that you can't just look at her and be able to determine whether she's looking tighter or not, whether like you."
it's lazy coaching is what that is. And on top of that, it's like if first of all, the audacity to send that client a screenshot image saying, let the ChatGPT robot tell you, like, girl, fire that coach. Why don't you just get a ChatGPT subscription? Because that's essentially what your pay. Your coach is the robot. Your coach is the ChatGPT now. And as we all know, ChatGPT is prone to make errors. It does make errors. It tells you what you want to hear,
Yeah. It
which is
literally
like
says on the bottom like it makes errors.
right, yeah. And like I use it also more for like admin stuff, also my taxes, like as I'm learning as a new like a business owner. But I would never go into ChatGPT and be like, "Hey, this is my client. Can you make them like a workout plan?" Because I just, whatever. Uh, I'm a coach. I learned how to make workout plans. I learned how to do all these things. Like, that's just lazy. This
Yeah.
guy, like, fire this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Excuse me.
Exactly.
And
And
so,
And like that red flag brings me to another red flag. And this is something that we also talked about on Mandy's podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, I don't know if it's out yet when this one comes out, but it might be. And it is us talking about our hot takes. And one of the conversations that we had was about education, education around coaching and around being a coach. And a red flag that I see in prep coaches and even in lifestyle coaches is that they don't continue their education and they rely on the information that they obtained 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the information that they got from NASM or from ISSA, when in reality, you cannot like, yes, that's a great foundation, that's a great first step, but that's all that it is just a first step. And if you do not continue learning and improving and becoming smarter and obtaining more information and being more educated, that is a red flag for me in coaching because that's telling me that you don't care about learning more. You don't care about progressing. You're cool with where you're at, and you're also going to keep your clients stuck because you're stuck yourself.
yeah, I totally agree. And I don't want to shit on NASM or ISSA because, it's a great foundation and a great starting place, but also literally like anyone could take it. You could have like a 17, 18-year-old come and take it and like, okay, that's great. And literally what it tells you how to do, it's like, what are those books called? That like how to for dummies or like
Yeah.
it's literally how to exercise and coach for dummies.
Yeah.
It is the most basic knowledge that you should have when you're going to be a personal trainer. And and that's it. It doesn't tell you how to look like it'll tell you a little bit about body imbalances and like what to look for, but it doesn't tell you, oh, how should we change the workout? Because now we're also like impeding a little bit on like kinesiology and PT. But that's
Mhm.
the whole point. Like if you're going to work with clients that need corrective exercises, then you need to go out and you need to find certification or education on those things, on rehab exercises. I mean, doesn't mean you have to go to PT school. If you want to, go for it. But like you need to seek more education or those clients are you're going to be going through clients left and right. They're not going to stay with you. And I don't blame them.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. No, that was very well said, and I totally agree with that. And I feel like that leads into another hot take, which is ignoring client biofeedback and just ignoring their feedback. So like not paying attention to, again, this also ties into the education of like, did you ask your clients to get their blood work done? Like I, as a prep coach, will not allow my client to start a prep until we get blood work done. I don't care how much of a hassle it is. I don't care that it's an extra expense. You are getting your blood work done because if you can't pay for your blood work or if you can't take that step of getting your blood work done, you cannot start a prep. You just simply
You shouldn't
cannot.
be prepping.
No, you should not be prepping. And if you're blood work and the results are not looking good, we are holding off and we are postponing. And that as well, with just client feedback. Like if you have a client that's telling you, hey, I have IBS, or I have this problem, or I can't eat gluten, or I can't do dairy, or whatever. And then you make their meal plan and it's yogurt and like everything that they say that they can't have because that's a cookie cutter plan that you made for client A. Now you're trying to give it to client B because it worked for client A, but client A doesn't have those symptoms. Client A doesn't have those problems. We have an issue. That's like trying to give someone a protocol who's on birth control versus someone who isn't, or trying to give someone a protocol who has gut issues versus someone who doesn't, or someone who works a 9 to 5 and has kids versus someone who doesn't. That's why if you are signing up for a personalized plan, a one-on-one coaching, it is one-on-one coaching based around your life, not some cookie cutter shit. And like I feel like all of these tie into each other because I fear that there is such a lack of true, good, personalized one-on-one coaches who actually pay attention to their clients. Hence why there's so many clients who are having such bad coaching experiences right now.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a shame because like if you get burned once, like you have to work yourself up before you can try another coach out, or some people just like will not give another
Do it
coach
again.
a try at all,
Yeah.
which is a shame because there are these great coaches out there. And I mean, to what you're saying, if your coach isn't knowledgeable enough to adapt your programming to your biofeedback, there's
That's
that's
not the
the
coach for
big
you.
it's not it's like not a coach period. Like that's
Yeah.
a ChatGPT coach. But I'm thinking about like an associate that we shared before that wanted to do a prep and didn't have recent blood work. And had a heart to heart with her about like the birth control and stuff like that, went to start a prep, like wasted some money on it because that coach didn't insist on her getting updated labs and went like I think 3 or 4 months without any physique changes because her body wasn't in a place to accept that. And it's like if your prep coach doesn't if they're okay with you not doing blood work, but they're okay with you spending $600 on a sparkly bikini, I'm sorry. Those priorities are backwards.
Yeah. Or spending $600 on um additional supplements, let's put it that way.
Or PEDs, we could
Yeah.
just come out and say that because listen, your health is going to stay with you 6 months, 12 months, years after the show. That bikini is going to stay with you maybe for a couple of weeks, unless you're an advanced athlete and you maintain like a lean physique year round. Let's be real. You're not wearing that bikini every single day after that show.
You're not
Like,
wearing it anywhere after that show.
yeah, well, maybe you are, but that's your business. Anyway, the
Yeah.
point being, that's not, if your coach is okay with you spending that money, not on your health, but elsewhere, that's a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like another red flag that should be talked about is when there's no clear timeline or vision that is being spoken about between the coach and the client. And a client believes that they have one kind of timeline versus the coach believing that they have another kind of timeline, or there's no vision, or which also then ties into another red flag, which is there's no clear communication. And when there's no clear communication, it's like, I don't. Communication is everything. Like I believe my three pillars of coaching is that honesty, trust, and communication. If we have those three, we can do everything and anything together. We can work through everything and anything. So if there is a lack of communication, there is a lack of trust, there is a lack of um support, there's a lack of everything, and then we don't have a clear timeline, we don't have a clear vision. You might think you want to get on stage this year when in reality, I don't think you can do that. So like there needs to be that conversation. And those are hard conversations to have. I've had to have those conversations with not just one client where I was like, "Hey, um, I'm here for the long run. I want you to get on stage. You looking like you have the foundation, but we just don't have enough muscle. We don't have the habits down. We don't have your blood work. Like we don't have things to make it a successful prep. You can't I'm not putting you in that." And the same thing goes for just a client who wants to go into a cut, right? Like if you're eating 1,200 calories, I'm not letting you cut. But that's not even a thought in my brain. So being able to have those hard conversations is difficult in itself because the client might not like what you have to say, but they didn't hire you to be a yes man. So a red flag and coaches just in general is when they can't sit down with the client and have that heart to heart and be like, "Hey, everything we're doing is for your greater good and this is not for your greater good right now. So like what you have in mind is just not realistic and let's see how we can pivot." And if those conversations are not being had, then preps start way too early or way too late. There's extreme protocols. There's just a bad relationship between the coach and the client because you're just not on the same page.
Agree. I've had to have some hard conversations with clients before too. I've had to actually refer clients out and be like, this is outside my wheelhouse. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Like, I want to help you, but I don't think I'm the best person to help you. And, if your coach can't be honest like that, because, like, at the end of the day, and maybe it's just because you and I have like such high standards, but at the end of the day, like, if I can't help someone, like, this is what I went into it for. I care about that client.
Yeah.
Let me find someone that can help you better. I'm not gonna just be like, I can't help you. Bye. Like, good luck, huh?
Yeah.
No. I've also had conversations, where a client has come to me and said, I want to prep, and I'm like, with what muscle? Like, not that blunt, but I've been like, hey, do you want to prep as a bucket list item? Because then if that's the case, cool, we could put you in fit model and we could
Or
do that.
transformation.
Right, or transformation, we can do that. But if you want to win, um, we need time. And it's also my reputation as a coach where I want to put someone on stage that is going to win. I don't want to just say, oh yeah, sure, we can make this happen. Again, if it's a bucket list item, if it's transformation, and I sit down and I say, I want you to have a very realistic understanding of what to expect on stage. Because to a degree, yes, it is who shows up that day, but also like let's assume that everyone is on their A game and they're showing up compared to where you're at right now before we start prep. It is unrealistic to say you're going to take an overall or you're going to take first or second place.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but also like wouldn't you rather hear the truth and then have time to prep and to make it so you can sweep an overall or take first or second and qualify than just, oh, I did it and I got called out last? And
Yeah.
no, nobody
Like at
wants
that point,
that.
that's not even like a fun bucket list thing because you didn't do good.
No, you don't feel, maybe you feel good that you did a thing that you said you were going to do, and that's cool. But like, I think most people are like, dang, I want to do better. So like,
Yeah,
let's get you to a place where you are going to do better, and it just takes time and patience.
absolutely. And I feel like with the topic of specifically shows that we're talking about, another red flag is going to be not having a reverse plan post show or like just a plan
Mm.
post show, which also ties into like that timeline because something that I feel like some people don't understand, and maybe it's because of the side of TikTok that I'm on, and like I see a lot of like new first time competitors like, oh, I'm in my first prep, and this is what I'm doing right after my prep, or like as soon as they get off stage, it's oh, back to like I just can't wait to eat this after my show and like start doing this again after my show. That tells me that you and your coach did not have the conversation of the fact that post show, you continue being in a prep. You're just
Yeah.
now reversing. Like it doesn't change. So if you're like, oh, I'm competing on this day because a week later I'm going on vacation and free for all and all inclusive resort and this and that. No, you're not. No, you're not, because you're gonna tank your body. You don't even, especially as a first-time competitor, and something like the reverse, like anytime I sit down to talk to a client or a prospect or someone who is interested in competing or like wants to compete in the future, one of the first conversations that we have is like, hey, you do this right now. We prep. we reverse, and then we either grow, maintain, whatever your goals are. You want to compete again, whatever the case is from there. But there's no like you get off stage and then it's a free for all.
No, that's the fastest way to fuck someone up. We've
Yeah,
seen it. We lived it.
we've
We
seen
lived
it,
it
we've
with
lived
our
it.
first coach, or our first prep coach. We both experienced that. And because of that, we will not do that with our clients.
Exactly.
Mm.
Silence.
I think we're just both like lost in the wow, never again.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
switch it up. We'll save this for after. But
Yeah.
um and last but not least, I feel like we can keep going on and on about more red flags, but I think one of the biggest ones that I want to touch on and where I want to end off is a coach that does not practice what they preach. If you are a prep coach and you are currently not competing or you are retired from competing or whatever, I'm not referring to that. That's fine. That's okay. You don't need to be in prep while your clients are in prep. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you hold a certain expectations for your clients to show up a certain kind of way, and you can't show up that way for yourself. And we actually spoke about this on Mandy's podcast as well, where you brought up how you saw an Instagram story where the coach said, "Do as I say, not as I do." And like to
Ugh.
me, that is insane. That is absurd. I encourage my clients to do as I do and do as I say. And that, yes, does apply to when I go on vacation and I have fun. And I am not bringing my food scale with me there, but it also applies to the day after vacation, back right back to doing everything that I am usually doing. So the concept of being a coach and having one kind of expectations for your clients and then not doing jack shit yourself, that's a really big red flag to me. That's a really big red flag to me.
Yeah. I agree. If you want, whether you want to do one show in bodybuilding or whether you want to have a career as a competitive bodybuilder, you can't and don't get to pick and choose when you adhere to the lifestyle. I mean, you can do that, and maybe your genetics will let you do that for a couple years, but eventually it is going to come time to pay up for that stupidity. Sorry, I'm just going to call it what it is. That's stupidity. I mean, I've been on vacations too where I will, I mean, I don't personally drink, but I will go and eat dessert every single day that I'm on vacation, but I also bring my food scale because I'm not going to eat dessert for every single meal because that just personally doesn't make me feel good. Like we go grocery shopping, I weigh my stuff out, then we go out to nice dinners, and then I have dessert. And maybe I have dessert twice in one day if it's like an extra special day, but I'm still usually we're walking around quite a bit and we plan our vacations like that on purpose because we both feel better getting movement in. And
Yeah.
then
We
I
find the
always,
gyms, the local gyms. We found gyms in
yeah,
Italy to make sure that we were getting some sort of movement in.
yeah. And always bring my little, I will empty this out, bring it through TSA, fill it up at a filtered water station, and I stay hydrated. So like that, and I post about it too. So do I expect that from lifestyle clients? No, not necessarily. Like, come on, let's be real. But if there is a prep client
Yeah.
and they maybe have a trip booked and it happens to be like right when we start a prep or something like that, we're gonna be having a conversation.
Yeah.
Or-
I mean, last year when I was in prep, we were going on a cruise and I brought the food scale with me on the cruise. And I will say, I couldn't use it as often as I wanted to simply because since the boat was
Oh
rocking,
yeah.
I would put something on it and the numbers would change like 15 times, but it would stay within a certain range. So then, I just simply had to like eyeball foods and be very selective of like, okay, if I want dessert, like I gotta have less carbs during dinner and I did all of my cardio. I drank all of my water. I went well above my steps. And when I came back from that cruise, I was down 2 pounds, which
On
helped
track.
significantly in the prep. Yes, exactly. So I feel like if you are working with a coach and they do not walk the walk or you do not see them walk the walk, that to me is such a big turn off. And again, live your life, have that balance. But I actually saw a post the other day, and I just want to throw it in here real quick, where this girl said, like, ladies, like, stop glorifying this having balance because there are times in your life when you need to say fuck the balance and go all in and learn to live the lifestyle without balance to then earn having balance in your lifestyle. Like you need to learn what it's like to not go out every single Friday for drinks and call it balance because it throws you off track on Saturday and Sunday because then you go and free for all it. So like sometimes, yeah, you need to throw that balance out the window for a little bit to really learn the things, like get the things down. And then like when you start living this lifestyle for real, like not just like for 12 weeks or for 16 weeks, but for real, you can then earn to have balance in your life and afford to have balance in your life while still progressing. Like you can't just jump into your fitness journey and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be 4 days on, 3 days off." All right, let me see the progress you'll make.
You're gonna make 4 days on, 3 days off progress, and it'll show because this is I forgot who I read this from, but I know a lot of people said it, so I don't know who the original person is. That was basically like, I work really hard to have a mid physique. And that and it was a bodybuilder and it was like off season, not like an active prep or something. And the whole point of it was they're doing this every single day, even on rest days. They're measuring food, they're drinking their water, they're doing their steps. So for the people that are like, oh my God, I'm gonna get bulky, or oh my God, I'm gonna like lose all this weight right away.
Mhm.
No, you have to be doing this consistently for years, not just 3 weeks. Um, and that's a lot of effort, and you're still not gonna look exactly the way that you think you're gonna look on like the cover of, Sports Illustrated. It takes time.
Yeah, a
It
lot
takes
more
time.
time than you think. A lot
Yeah,
more time than you think.
yeah. It
Oh,
just makes no
I
big
love
deal.
this little tangent. This was so good. I mean, it does tie into also red flags in coaches because if they set unrealistic expectations, like, hey, you can lose 20 pounds in 6 months, maybe you can lose 20 pounds of inflammation and maybe some body fat, but like it takes time to change your body. I actually made a post about this the other day saying like the problem why a lot of people have not seen the results that they want to see in their fitness journey is because they quit too early because they don't get that instant gratification. And that's the beautiful thing about being in your fitness journey is there is no instant gratification. You gotta play the long game. If you don't play the long game, you're not playing the game right.
Hmm. You're gonna lose.
And you're gonna lose, and you're gonna lose bad. But okay, enough with this tangent. You guys came here to hear about red flags, so we threw in some red flags for you. We may be doing a part two on this, but regardless of that, if you enjoyed this, please give us a like, subscribe, of course, so you can stay updated on my channel where I post podcasts and I have been dabbling into some like vlogs and other things as well. So check that out. Also jump over to Mandy's podcast. So that's going to be Unfiltered and Functional. She drops her episodes every Monday and she is a freaking gem. Has so many gems on her channel. So go ahead and check those out. And if you're listening on Spotify, please rate this 5 stars. It really does help the channel grow. It really helps us grow as creators so we can keep doing what we love doing and keep bringing this information to you. But thank you for tuning in to another Sculpt Session Sunday. We will talk to you in the next one. And thank you, Mandy, so much for joining me yet again. You join me for everyone, and I'll thank you every single time because I just love having you here. But thank you for joining me. This was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.